Hi.
Hey, I love the mask.
Thanks. I need a second to adjust it here because I can't see.
Sure, take your time. Can you hear
Uh,
me okay though?
yeah, I can hear you clear. I have headphones in. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Is the
yeah.
question?
Yeah, it's fine. I hear you really well.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, I'm
How's
right
it,
there. Let me know if you need me to like navigate you around the room or anything.
Yeah, maybe. I'll probably take this off at some point just because I don't know. Yeah.
Sure. If you feel like it's slowing you down in any way, just yeah, let me know. But before we start, I just want to like mention a couple of things, just so you're aware.
Sure.
Um, the first thing is that I am currently recording my screen. I recorded when I first joined, and oh, there are some microphone sounds happening. I think it's okay now. Yeah, after this call is done, I'll share the recording with you, and you can have a look through, and obviously let me know if there's anything you prefer I edit out, or if you're not comfortable with me sharing. Like my ambition with this is sort of twofold, and one is to make sure that everyone involved has a nice time, and the second part is uh, to make sure that you're comfortable with anything that's shared, and that you feel good about whatever goes out there. There you
Yeah.
go.
Sounds good to me.
And I have a list of questions, but I'll just sort of use them as I don't know, like some sort of support structure, because obviously I know you a little bit, and I think we have a lot to talk about outside of whatever the standard questions would be too. Um, I think that was everything.
Uh,
Do you have any questions for me?
no, sorry. I'm doing the thing right now. I can't hear you. What are you saying? Sorry, that was my wife.
Yeah, sure, sure thing.
Uh,
And I have questions around that too, but maybe yeah. Is there anything you would like to know before we start?
I think I'm ready
Yeah,
to get into this.
yeah. I have a sense that you're ready too. Like I feel like you come into this well prepared. Um,
I tried.
and oh right, one thing I forgot to mention. If there's anything like personally identifiable, um, I don't know. I don't think I will be sharing anything other than your username in the like video title. Anything beyond that is up to you. So if you want to talk about your name or um, social insurance numbers, or it's up to you. But I won't probe into it specifically. And obviously, like anything I bring up to you is voluntary. So if there's something you're not comfortable answering, just let me know and we'll jump past it.
All right, sounds great.
You good? Tell me about the mask.
Uh, it's from AliExpress, Alibaba.
Oh really?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think they're cool and saw a lot of people with, kigurumi style things and just decided to buy some now that I have disposable income.
Yeah, for sure. It looks amazing. It
Yeah, it's
it
got like a mouth and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got some sort of articulated jaw thing happening. So
Yeah,
cool.
just a series of rubber bands, but
Yeah, sure. Nice. I mean, I know a bit about you. I've followed you for a couple of years. But if someone's brand new to this and they have no idea who you are, like how would you introduce yourself typically?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just a guy. My page is my diary. I like anime babes and castles.
Yeah, sure. And what's yeah, I guess that answers like half that question. But what's the story behind your username?
I used to go by a different username and Deadlord, which,
Mm.
wasn't anything to write home about.
Mm.
But my personal account, I think, has a very good handle, and I wish I could have just used that instead. But so my personal is Vibrating Castle, which
Mm.
comes from a Mr. Kridov comic, like just a picture of Woody Allen saying you were banned from my Vibrating Castle. And I don't know why. I just really love that.
Sure, resonated with you
Um,
somehow. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then eventually, I wanted to change it into something of a similar vein, and I bleed a lot.
Hmm.
So hence Bleeding Castle, but that didn't really quite hit right. So, I'm Chinese. I mix my L's and R's up. So Bleeding Castle became Breeding Castle.
I see. But you do have a what's it called, a backup account, right?
Yeah,
That has the bleeding as opposed to the breeding.
yeah.
Nice. Um, how do you use your backup account? Like, are you active on there?
Uh, I just use it solely to post OC. So, I like to do long form shit posts.
Mm,
I see an image and I write something about it and whatnot, and
mm,
that's just where it all goes.
yeah, yeah. Um, so what do you post? How do you think about the things that you post on your account?
I don't know, man. I see something that fits the vibe, I guess, and then it goes on. Um, I do my Wednesday posting, which is very lazily done now. I just save everything into a Wednesday folder, and then when Wednesday rolls around, I post.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the if you love your wife stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did that come from? What's the story behind it?
Um, I don't know. Years back, like waifu Wednesdays would be a thing. Back when there was what, like the woman crush Wednesday,
Oh, right.
waifu
Yeah.
Wednesdays, and then I don't know. At some point, I just would comment on every post. Every day is Wednesday if you love your wife.
Yeah.
And then now it's a bit of like a step on a crack, your mother dies kind of situation where it's like, oh no, if I don't post it on Wednesday, do I stop loving my wife?
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
so it's yeah, just grown into like a I don't know, a superstition, I guess.
Yeah. Fair enough. You know what? I can sort of relate to that, I think. Feeling like if you stop posting, something bad will happen.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's intentional, if it's designed into the system. Because obviously, with all the little like gamified experiences here and there, and they are incentivizing you to post more. But I don't know if it's done directly by, Meta or Instagram, or if it's just in our heads. But the opposite of that feels like it's negative. If there are if the things that motivate us are like fear and greed, then yeah, it falls into fear territory sometimes. Why do you post?
because it's fun.
Who do you post?
Yeah.
Who do you post for?
I don't know, myself
Yeah,
mostly. Just I feel like yeah, even back on my personal account, I would just shit post things that were interesting or beautiful. And well, I feel like in 2020, when a lot of social unrest and it seemed like your feed was flooded with infographics, uh, things of that nature, it
yeah.
felt like a little disingenuous to shit post so much on my personal feed. So I
Mm.
kind of just took to a separate account to dedicate that to.
So this was post pandemic,
Yeah, during the pandemic,
but
it just seemed like for a while, a lot of personal accounts just, stopped posting anything personal of that
yeah,
nature. It became a lot of communal aid and things of that nature.
yeah. But is that when you first? I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I have the feeling that I've been following you since before.
Well, I've been shit posting on my other meme account since
Yeah.
what, like 2014?
Okay. Okay. And I know you're on Facebook too, right? Like that's where it sort of started.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
started, so I have a like group of internet friends I've been friends with since I was 14.
Hmm.
I found them through like a gay tiny chat link on 4chan, and it
Hmm.
kind of just spiraled into us hanging up in a stream site. A lot of the regulars stuck around, and we just like went platform to platform and just kept in touch through the years. And eventually in 2014, we made a meme page, a Aphex Twin loosely themed meme page,
Hmm.
and it kind of took off from there.
Hmm.
But I'm just one of many admins there. It's we shit post loudly, and after a while, I started doing the long form posts, and for vanity reasons, I wanted to break off into my own page so I could not just be one of many, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that you post for yourself, but what if vanity is a factor? Tell me more about that. Like, what do you do it for?
Well, what's
What's
more
the
about
aim?
yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, what's more about yourself than vanity, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. It's fun, and if it stops being fun, I'll probably stop doing it.
Yeah. Has it been fun in the same way ever since you first started in, 2013, 14?
Uh, it's fun in different ways. Yeah, it comes through in waves, but I got really obsessive once I moved over into Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and like I got obsessed with the metrics, and like I had this Python script I would run every week that would go and like measure out all my followers, their reach and whatnot, and just do these
Mm.
vanity scrapes and like, and it was, I was, I was scrolling for so much. My screen time was insane. It was interfering with my work and
Yeah.
probably my personal life. And then at a certain point, I just stopped caring and I
Yeah.
got a lot more casual about it.
Okay. Fair enough. What was the tipping point? Why did it change from something that's obsessive to something more casual?
Um, you know what it is? I think since I hit the 10K and then there's like that priority section, I no longer
Right.
feel the need to like obsessively measure everything. It just tells
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's
Oh,
just
so
it's
that's what
hard.
the script was doing, like effectively replicating what is already there for influencers, quote unquote.
Yeah, that and like it was really fun to be able to chase down like, oh, why did this spike happen? Like who reshared something or like
Yeah.
which post is getting engagement. That used to be really fun to like
Mm.
sniff out and investigate and then after a certain point, it was just like really it was just too much to chase down. It was becoming more of a chore than like, I don't
Hmm.
know, a weird nugget of truth to dig through.
Sure. So, okay, if you look at your metrics and now your priority and you have the, I don't know if you have the check mark or whatever, but you're being um, given a bit of like a VIP pass once you hit 10K. Um, how how did that make you feel? Like, what are the emotions associated with that for you?
I don't know, it was a relief. Like, oh, I don't know, like live my life again
Yeah,
and
but
not obsess over it so much.
relief from what?
Relief from, I don't know, just the time sink and then knowing that like inherently it's stupid, right? It's the stupid little page that I'm
Hmm.
sinking so much of my time into.
Well, I mean,
And if
depending
it,
on your definition, but sure.
you know,
Yeah.
it
Um,
just it seems frivolous to pour so much time into it.
yeah.
And then it could finally become, like a casual hobby again.
Hmm.
Like do it when you like and so on.
Yeah. How has your pages, I guess plural, how have they changed since you first started out? Like, are there different things that drive you? Does it manifest in different ways? Like, how are they the same and how are they different?
Well, for selected ambient memes,
Mm.
it's always been a repost page. It still is.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a stronger sense of community when we started out. Like, I
Mm.
don't know if you're familiar with Weird Facebook, but just like a collective of all these, meme pages that absurdist takes on comedy and stuff.
Mm.
It felt like a tighter knit meme community back
Mm.
then, and it kind of all fizzled out. All the big pages got sucked or taken down, or people just lost interest. I
Yeah.
think a big thing is a lot of people don't use Facebook anymore,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it just got like less fun at a certain point. And when I migrated over to Instagram, that felt more engaging for a while. So there was that aspect of engagement that
Yeah.
made things feel fresh and new. And then I was meeting a bunch of new friends again, like forming communities that felt like I hadn't had in a while.
Yeah. So if you would have asked me, I would say that I feel like Instagram is changing. The the way people are interacting with Instagram, there was a short period, 2020, 2021, where it felt like a frenzy, much to your point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a very obsessive, hypey type place, and it was really interesting to see because I think we were we were all sort of part in shaping that, but it has died down a little. People are going back to their regular jobs, or I don't know what it is, but maybe the novelty is gone a little. So I'm sensing a shift in, I don't know, the reception of whatever I post. It's not such a linear thing anymore where you are just trying to like conquer this thing because the mountain turns out to be much smaller than I was expecting it to be. Something is different What's your take on that? Is Instagram going in a different direction? That's a very leading question, but I'll still ask it.
Uh, yeah, I think a big part of it is circumstances. Like a lot of people got big into in the pandemic, but also, there were a lot of big pages beforehand that would like post insane things like puppy codes. Puppy codes used to while out and post
Yeah,
like cock and ball torture,
yeah,
just straight up.
yeah,
And censorship's gotten definitely more intense with, what you can and can't do. Just a lot of text-based censorship too. Like news sites can't say Taliban.
yeah.
Like, isn't that insane?
I was I received a strike for that because I'm sitting on a chair that is the same chair. It's a Herman Miller Aeron, and it's the same one they had in the courthouse in Afghanistan somewhere. And when the news coverage of the Taliban storming the government buildings, there were pictures of them sitting in exactly the same chair that I'm sitting in. And so
Hmm.
I jokingly posted, saying that I'm sitting in my Taliban chair, and then that was deleted, and I received a strike for promoting terrorism or whatever they said. Yeah, it's a blunt instrument that they're using. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. There's a very good Taliban public relations Twitter account. It's really good. And then just resharing anything from there gets me an immediate strike. But
yeah,
it's like pretty pure for the most part.
yeah,
Like pretty pure content, like great PR.
yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
So your page, I think, is a little bit different from most other pages. When I first discovered you, I felt like, to me, you represented almost like a bridge between people casually posting funny memes and actual scary dark internet culture, because you are well versed to the point where the things you sort of just hear about in passing that I'm sure is happening on the what's it called, Tor or whatever, Thor, the dark web sort of. Yeah,
Darknet stuff. Yeah.
exactly. Like, here are people that are uh, having sex with octopus stuff, like that kind of craziness with
That
just.
is on the clear net.
Yeah,
Sure.
no, I know, but you know this to a much greater extent than
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think most people that I would see. So,
Yeah.
like, yes, I would follow Alice puppy codes and see
Hmm.
crazy stuff there, and I think I was part of resharing a lot of things that were crazy too, just because it's fun.
Hmm.
It's fun to sort of push the buttons, but you came from a more well versed or maybe a little bit darker side of it, which felt almost like it's like the dangerous side of meme accounts. What's your
Well, you're
relationship to the stuff?
flattering me.
Yeah, what's your relationship to the things you post and to like internet culture in general? I think.
Um, I don't know. I feel like it's just I see things that are interesting, disgusting, or beautiful. Just
Yeah,
I don't know, something that captures my interest. I
yeah.
repost it.
But for me,
Um,
I've always like felt that it's at a safe distance. The things
yeah,
that appear in my feed, I'm just resharing whatever my friends found. At some point, the actual thing that's being depicted on the picture comes from reality. And there are people involved in the reality. And I think that's where I see you being closer to the proverbial wire.
yeah. I guess. I mean, I wasn't always into dolls and these things, and then after a certain point, seeing enough of it, posting enough of it, was like, why don't I just get one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I feel like it's still at a safe distance. It's in the comfort of my own home. I'm just collecting like niche hobbies,
Yeah.
mostly just, purchasing life-size dolls from Walmart.com. Like nothing too insane. No dark web stuff. Just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. Life, I guess, mimics posts,
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
so to
Maybe
speak.
there's actually an
Like
element
life,
of
I don't
being
know.
like a little bit desensitized by it at some point. Or, like
Yeah,
embracing it in a different way compared to someone who is just, appalled by it and turns away. Um,
yeah.
what's the appeal for you? Because I mean, obviously you seek out culture that a lot of people avoid.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I see something like, I don't know, just really shocking or out there, or somebody with such like a specific niche interest that gets me really excited.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know,
Why?
like when you find a new rare guy, like like
Define what a rare guy is for people that are
oh
not
my
initiated.
gosh. Yeah, how do you define a rare guy? Like, what are some common ones? Like Chris Chan, Martin Cabello, just like I don't like a lot of people refer to them as lolcows. I don't like that because I don't know, they're just so fascinating. Like people with such niche interests, just hyper fixated on strange areas of their lives. Usually they're not all there, but just I don't know, a rare guy. You know a rare guy when you see one.
Definitely. Yeah.
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 Yeah, and something about that is just so fascinating to me. And like, I don't know if I could purchase my way into like some corner of this rare guy's sphere, that sounds fun for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we live in a time where we have a very like privileged perspective where we can actually see these things because
Yeah.
they would be, the stuff of legends, and it would be hard to like verify,
Yeah.
but now you can follow along because they post 5 times a day. Yeah.
I know they,
Yeah.
oh God, they post so hard.
Who are you outside of Instagram? And again, like share as much as you're comfortable with.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is a good time to take off my mask.
Oh wow.
I'm
Yeah.
sweating into my eyes.
It's beautiful, but it's also like incredibly distracting to look at it. Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Oh, I lost my.
Oh, I still hear and I hear you more clearly now. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. You hear me more clearly outside of um sorry, what was the question?
Who are you outside of internet?
Uh I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
Um I don't know. I feel like my sense of humor is the same, probably just less like openly deranged. Although I don't know, I'm not so sure about that. Start
Yeah.
talking about like raw meat stuff with my coworkers, so I don't know.
Do the people in your regular life, are they aware of your like online footprint?
Some, definitely not most.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, a small group of my real life friends follow. I like opened it up to my close friends when I
Mm.
first started posting, and only like a handful of them joined on. And then after a certain point, it just got so embarrassing that like I don't need to invite this into the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But
So
you know,
what
some
was the
people
you
still
say
find it.
embarrassing? Like what was the response?
What was the response? I don't know. A lot of people say like, "Oh yeah, I have to like block you from time to time again because it gets too scary." Just need a break from like, I don't know. Generally positive, I guess.
And
But yeah,
in what
not a
way?
lot of
Like
people.
what do they say when it's positive?
Just stuff that's interesting, I guess, or funny.
Yeah.
Uh, for the most part, yeah, no. Like a lot of my closest friends don't know about it, or like know about it but don't follow me. My wife doesn't follow me. Things like that. I
Oh yeah.
think most of the people I live with don't know about. They're like aware of some like vague meme page, but
Hmm.
don't
Do they?
don't know what I'm doing when I say I'm practicing 9/11 in the basement.
Oh right. So I forgot to mention, but I just found out like an hour ago that Ted Kaczynski died today.
What?
Yeah. 81 years old. They found him unresponsive in a cell at 8 in the morning. But uh,
Oh my God.
sorry, I didn't mean to break it to you. I just like I've seen it shared all over the place for a little bit. They
Yeah, no, wow.
they transferred him over to some sort of like hospital type prison in 2021, and he's an older guy. Um, I spent my morning or my early afternoon. I don't know what time it is. Being upset with the news reporting around it because obviously they disregard a lot of
Hmm.
like actual valid points that he made. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm also not really surprised. Um, but yeah, sorry, got sidetracked. Um,
No.
so you said the people in your life they're like they're aware that something's going on, but not really probing into it deeper, or it's not something you're marketing too widely.
Yeah, it's not something I market too
Yeah.
widely. Um,
Why?
yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. It's like my diary and it's very unhinged and a lot of aspects of it are like very embarrassing that I feel like, oh yeah, I don't need the world to know about.
Tell me more about that emotion. Like, what makes it embarrassing?
I don't know, you know my page. It's scary. It's weird. It's like I don't need to invite this into every aspect of my life. Like some of my humor is gonna shine out, regardless, but
Yeah.
people don't need to get the whole package.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I, I I think there's something to be said around being a little bit embarrassing for the sake of connecting with others. The more
Yeah.
vulnerable you are, like vulnerability is a real thing, right? Like if you are
Hmm.
actually vulnerable, you're more subject to, I don't know, ridicule or ostracism or whatever it may be. But if you do it, that's also like the best way of forming truer, more real human relationships. So maybe we need to be a little bit embarrassing. I don't know. That's how I justify it to myself at least. Like it is what it is, but it's something that I personally like. I seek it out. I need to share stuff, and some people don't like it at all, and some people like it a whole lot. But without me sharing, how can I know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see that. And I still post and
Yeah,
people still, somehow find a way to find it.
yeah,
But I feel like like, I used to just, overshare constantly on my personal, and it was always just such a deep factor of shame that would happen after,
mm, mm-hmm,
But it was mostly just like suffering loudly,
mm.
publicly. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm embarrassing enough in my day to day. I don't need to like bring this other like schizo aspect into it.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. I think I feel the same in many ways, and I like the idea that you can have, like an anonymous Instagram where you can post something elsewhere that people don't
Yeah.
necessarily need to connect to who you are in your regular life while still getting some sort of validation or some sort of input on the things that you feel, like it's fine to have something
Mhm.
that's separately just for your personality and your views and share that, and it doesn't have to be, connected to me going to work or to me hanging out with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you overshare in your regular life?
Yeah. Of course I do.
Yeah. And how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I feel like I have a bad gauge of like what is appropriate and inappropriate, and like, well, I'll know after it's out,
But
but
only
like,
after.
it's got to
Yeah.
come out first too. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. It's fun.
I feel the same. I will constantly try to make jokes that do not land in a fairly like public way, and I get a kick out of doing that. There's something about telling a joke that bombs in front of an audience that's just not receptive to it that I think is such a, yeah, I don't know. It's a very strong and exciting emotion for me. So I try to pursue it
Yeah, I
when I
feel like
can.
yeah, no, I do the same. Sometimes it's just crashes and burns, and then there's that like delicious like extended piece of silence
Yeah, yeah,
afterwards.
exactly. And you have to live with your decision and you feel the shame like crawling up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
um,
I feel like I'm so entrenched in meme culture that I have like an encyclopedic memory of a bunch of memes that I'll bring up. And the worst thing is having to explain one, like the humiliation of explaining like what a
yeah.
piss drawer is
Oh,
to a
yeah.
coworker.
They don't know? I thought that was
No, I
public.
was lucky.
Yeah.
I was lucky. My coworker did know that one. But like there's a few that's just like, oh God, am I gonna have to go down this rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you interact with the people that follow you, the people you follow?
Pretty minimally, I feel like. I was
Mm,
more engaging at first, but now for the most part is like if I don't have something like good to say back, then I just don't
mm,
usually.
mm.
And I don't mean like good as in nice, just like something meaningful to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. So I think of it as almost as a spectrum where some people they just post, and they ignore whatever is
Mm.
coming into their inbox, and they turn off the comment thing in their stories or on their posts even. And then there are
Mm.
people that don't post anything, and they're super social, and they have 500 DMs going at any one time. Where are you?
Somewhere in the middle, I
Yeah.
guess. I've made so many lifelong friends through the internet,
Hmm.
like a majority of my friends and like long-standing ones. And yeah, I've made a lot of friends through Instagram and I'm talking to a bunch of people constantly. But
Yeah.
as far as just like contact from people who I've never interacted with and just usually in response to something that I say, I don't know what to say to that. So I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. I don't know if you feel the same, but maybe less so now because I don't have a ton of followers. But back in the day when I would have a lot of followers, I would almost lose track of who I'm talking to and more be more focused on what I'm talking about. So I feel like there would be these ideas that were just floating around and maturing slowly through the input of a bunch of people, and then I would reshare that, and they would get new perspectives added. And at some point, you start to like form actual opinions, and you feel like, yes, this is probably some approximation of the truth, and then that's how I feel. But it's not so much tied to like a specific person, and it's more around like these concepts that are emerging through our culture are like getting refined through our interaction, which I thought was kind of exciting and interesting because I haven't really seen that in my regular life.
Yeah, just like little nuggets and
Yeah,
pulling out a pattern throughout
yeah,
several
yeah.
separate conversations.
So
Oh, that's interesting.
the thing that
I don't
excited,
think I talk to enough people to do that.
yeah, maybe I always respond to like literally everything. If at a minimum, I'll double tap something. The only times when I don't respond is if I get something from a new account in a language I don't understand with no context and they don't follow me. Then I'm like, you know what? This is probably they probably sent it to someone by mistake. But aside from that,
Whoa,
yeah,
there could be forbidden knowledge in there
yeah,
that you're just not translating.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
just
true.
ancient wisdom. Those are the ones I always like look into.
Fair enough. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, where do you see your account going in the future? You said you might delete it, but if you don't,
I never said I might delete it.
oh, you
I
said
don't think I would ever.
you said you might stop posting. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's different.
yeah, that's true.
No, it's just if it's not fun, then I'm not gonna do it. And then when it's fun again, or when I feel the urge, then I will.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. I shouldn't treat it like a job. Just enjoy it as a hobby, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it really hasn't changed much since I started.
Mm,
I used to post more like OC, I guess,
mm,
and that's fizzled out just because I haven't been inspired to do anything. But I guess it's a little less extreme as well, just because of all the heightened censorship.
mm-hmm.
But I don't
From
know.
the
I feel
platform
like
itself, you mean?
yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I feel like content-wise, it really hasn't changed all that much.
yeah.
I don't know. Do you see a shift?
I think I go through little like time periods where I'll be really fascinated with one like aspect or one topic or one way of framing something, and then I look back and then I cringe really hard, and then I have to change because I feel like I'm being too sincere or too funny or it's too ridiculous in one way or another, and then I try to
None
change
of
it,
those
and
are
then yeah,
none of those are bad things. Too sincere, too funny.
but the sitcom Seinfeld, they always said like there
Yeah,
would be no hugging and no learning, and that was sort of like a core pillar that they were resting on. Um,
yeah.
and sometimes I make that mistake of just like blurring the lines of irony or satire or just being sincere. And when I look back, it's yeah, it just looks um, a little bit like condescending and a little bit like self-aggrandizing in a way that I don't enjoy.
Mm.
But yeah, aside from that, I don't know. The topics might change a little, and I feel like I have a better understanding now of what actually like interests me. So it's a little bit more like the signal to noise ratio is a little bit better now, and hopefully I'll keep going in that direction. But I don't know. we'll see. Also, most of what I post, most of what I ever have posted, has been like a reaction to the world around us. So depending on where the world goes, that's where my account will go to. I
A
think.
journalist in the front lines, just
Yeah,
yeah,
but like the ridiculous sort of satire version of that. I think.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not looking to make any profound, groundbreaking discoveries and then share that with the masses, but more like here's my take on stuff. And so far,
mhm.
I was really surprised that as many people paid attention to what I had to say. Like I'm just a guy like you,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden people like care about your opinion, or they find a way to like resonate with your observations. I don't know. What's your typical like follower interaction? Is it a positive, neutral, negative?
I don't know, man. My followers are terrifying. Uh, uh,
How so?
neutral, neutral, not overwhelmingly good, not
Yeah.
terrifyingly bad, neutral.
Why terrifying?
I don't know. I feel like I tend to get a lot of like obsessive, uh, scary guys. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, not so rare, but scary.
Yeah.
Just, that feel like, I don't know, they have some sort of stake in me and my page.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know,
I I can sometimes feel grateful that I'm slightly older. I'm a guy. I'm not like sexually desirable to anyone in that sense. Like I don't get that crazy sort of stalkery vibe from anyone ever. Every so often there will be like an idiot or someone who is hostile or someone who has an opinion that they feel like is more important than my opinion, and rather than sharing their opinion they go after me for my opinion. Like that happens, but I don't get that sort of possessive strangeness that I've seen mainly on like female accounts. Like they get craziness. Don't really know where it
I
comes from.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like I was getting those before I ever showed my face or anything. And
Mm-hmm.
most people assume that I'm a man still, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I think just something of the nature of what I post and
Yeah.
schizo content attracts, I don't know, schizos.
Yeah. But I mean, I to some extent I understand that. There's like a primal quality to a lot of the things that you post. And when people see like here's someone who is saying things that I'm barely even like acknowledging those emotions in myself, and here I see it from someone. Like I'm sure that can be validating and comforting in a way that feels almost overwhelming to someone who isn't emotionally like regulated enough to actually handle it. I don't know, that this
Yeah.
is my theory, but yeah. And then people project and do crazy stuff.
hmm
Yeah. Do you
And I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, you.
I was gonna say, I mean, I've made a lot of very great lifelong friends
Yeah.
out of it. So there's obviously more good than bad, which
Yeah.
is why
Yeah,
I'm still
totally.
here. Yeah.
Totally.
Mhm. And I invite the bad too. I don't know. I feed off of negative energy.
Yeah. I think that's something we have in common. Um, I remember I always stood out as one of those people who would like very loudly, publicly debate like a bully. I would challenge people in my, even as a kid. Like if somebody had a stupid opinion, I would call them out on it, and I think that translated really nicely onto the internet, and just not shying away from conversations. And then every so often I'd be wrong, but most of the time I would be right too. So like you feel like you learn from it too. Like again, it's the whole like iterative approach to just ideas and stuff. I don't know. I feel like I'm growing as a human being just from having my Instagram account.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I learn a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, lots of fights, good hills to die on.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Um, I'm gonna just quickly revert to my list and see. Um,
Sure.
yeah. Oh yeah. So you mentioned the who's he what's it the priority. Like you have 10K. All of a sudden they remove the um, they give you the decimal instead of like the full number or whatever. Like that's exciting, right?
Yeah.
Um, you said you became more casual after that happened. Tell me
Yeah.
something
I
that
feel like
oh
the thrill, the chase just went away.
yeah
Sorry, go on.
yeah yeah. And I think that's relatable. As my account grew, I think there were a couple of milestones that had some sort of significance for me. 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000. But all of a sudden, like, 54,000 doesn't really have that same ring to it. And I don't know why, but it's, some economist I'm sure can explain it. Um, but what's a milestone that you are looking forward to in terms of Instagram? Is there one?
Yeah, no, I honestly don't know. I feel like it's just as long as it continues to be fun,
Yeah.
as long as I'm continuing to like hang out with all the little friends that live in my phone. Um, I'm not too uh obsessed with growth as I was in the past.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just hanging out. I don't know.
Um, what was the what was the reason you last followed someone?
Rare guy from one of my ads. Yeah, I keep getting targeted ads that are just like rare guys with, like fu usually like under 100 followers that pay to have like schizophrenic posts just sent out to everybody. Love it. Love these rare guys. More guys for my zoo.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever engage with them? Do you talk to them?
Um, Sometimes not the ones I've met through ads yet,
Mm.
but I feel like yeah, most of the rare guys I know I found through Facebook, and I would friend them immediately, and then some I would talk to, and some not. But
What were they like? Did they have anything in
it's
common?
nice. Do they have something in common? Absolutely sure. Like whatever that
That
piece
spark.
is,
Yeah.
the class that spark that classifies you as a rare guy. They all got that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They're all the ones I engaged with were nice, kind, more polite than you would expect.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, what was the last reason you unfollowed someone?
Um, I think they did one of those like 10 post carousel things and not a single one was funny
Mm.
for like a meme page. And I was like, clicked on their page and another post was the same. And I was like, okay, I think it's time to move on.
What makes something funny or not funny to you?
Same deal with the rare guys. I don't know. There's a common thread. There's like a spark there, but
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about it sometimes. For me, I think the answer is that it needs to be unexpected somehow, but unexpected in a good way. I don't just want chaos. I want curated things that still like surprise me. Um, and when the format is the same, if they're like, I have witty observations, but everything is just like a screenshot of a Twitter account, or it's the same like meme template, I can't deal with it because it feels predictable. And then I feel like it's like pandering. I don't know. It's like too resting on its
Two on the
laurels.
nose.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, oh yeah, I figured out the format because I'm so funny and people love me. But like I need them to challenge it a bit more, I think. Um, why do people follow you?
Uh, I don't know. I'm post unhinged things. If you like rare guys, I got a lot of them and I'm willing to share. I think I'm pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly think so. I followed you for a couple of years. It's still like it's a good time. Yeah. So, when you open up Instagram, what do you do? You click the little thing on your phone. Then what happens?
Uh, I scroll. I don't know. I feel like I mostly just go through stories and then the first few pages, and then that's about it.
Hmm.
Mostly reacting to stuff I see my friends do. My little friends that live in my phone.
Yeah. Are they like Instagram account friends or real life friends or a little bit of both or
A little
both
bit
at
of
the same
both,
time? Yeah.
but both mostly internet friends.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, most of my friends are internet friends.
Yeah.
A lot of my real life friends were are started out as internet friends.
Yeah, that's interesting. For me, I felt like a pretty clear shift um, when like Instagram and Facebook and MySpace or whatever else, when that started to become popular. I was, I guess you would call me like an early adopter. I thought that this had, opportunity and I could connect with the whole world and, learn cultural, all sorts of stuff. But most of my friends from growing up, they were like, nah, don't need it. And then they would hang out with their dog and their friends and, you know, hang out in their house instead, which is great. And I can sometimes feel a little bit jealous of that, quote, simpler life. But I also think there's a lot of really exciting stuff that I'm very grateful for that has happened to me from like interacting with people online. You meet weirdos, that wear a mask when you interview them, and yeah, it's I don't know, it's fun. Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And we have the wealth of like all of the knowledge of mankind of all time just at our fingertips in
Yeah,
these tiny little computers. Like, why not take advantage of that? There's so much to learn. The world is so much bigger than just what you are.
yeah. So my follow up question on that then would be like, what's your worldview? What are people like in general? Where are we headed as a society?
People are awful. Society sucks. But I'm surprisingly optimistic for the future. Um, I don't know. I think technology will aid us in better times. It'll be a shit show until everything burns, but I think there's a lot of positivity with where we can go. I don't know, maybe go to space within our lifetimes, find some an other world to destroy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. To set up a strip mall and a McDonald's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, beautiful.
Okay, well, I get it. So sort of like a dancing in the rain type of thing. Is that somewhat
That doesn't
accurate?
ring a bell.
No, so
I
somebody
don't
said
get the
like,
reference.
life is not about waiting for the sunshine. It's about learning how to dance in the rain, or something equally corny. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, sure.
okay. That's how I'm gonna label it in my head now. um, so your account, you obviously have like a very niche perspective or vantage point, or a collection of images that are quite unique. Even though we live in this like constant fire hose flow of a lot of crazy stuff, I still think that you've curated something that's quite special. Um, I would argue that there's a skill to it, but my question for you is that a skill that can be taught? If someone who is like 14 years old, they're just getting their first real good phone or whatever. I don't know when people get phones. Maybe they're like 7 these days. But they want to become like you. Can they?
I don't know, man. You could probably boil it down to some sort of algorithm, but it's just, you know, having an interest in things and working with that, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna say no. No, you
Yeah.
can't. You can't become like me.
Okay, good. I hope so. Because what you just said is like profoundly terrifying for me. Imagine if one day you realize that one of the accounts that you followed for 3 years and really liked turns out to just be a bot, you know?
I would love that. That sounds beautiful. That sounds so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's there's something very scary about or very lonely about the prospect of things being automated. If there's nothing behind the curtains, and it's just like here's a little team from Replica that went off in their own direction and created, and they call it the internet friend. And as it turns out, half of the people that you follow are just bots and people that you've engaged with and liked. Because like our entire interaction together, yours and mine, has been through online as
Yeah.
have many of my interactions with people. What if they were not real anymore? Like I would feel like I'm all alone. That'd be scary.
Ah, I feel like the exact opposite of that. It sounds so beautiful. It sounds poetic. It sounds like, wow, just the sea of bots. And I don't know. I kind of feel like with we're still so far from, generalized AI, but like we're essentially building a god in our image, right? Large
Yeah,
language models are just built off of things that we've said.
yeah.
you know, obscenity bots trained on, horrible images because we don't want a person to have to sift through them. Like
Hmm.
they're trained based off of our image, the best and the worst of us.
Hmm.
And is that not like manufacturing a god? Something that's going to
Yeah,
overtake us eventually
of
because
course.
it's, doesn't have our human flaws or slowness or, inability to decide.
I would maybe argue that
I don't
it's
know.
it's
If,
hard
if all my
coding a
friends are
lot of the
bots, I think that's great.
yeah, it would hard code a lot of our flaws in a scary way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fine, right? Like most, I don't know, depictions of God are built in our image,
yeah,
aren't perfect by any means.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
I don't know. I think it's cool. We might see our destruction by some mechanical god of our making within our lifetimes. That's very exciting to me.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah. No, as far as like apocalypses go, it's one of the more fun ones, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
just
At
like,
least we're responsible for that one in some way. We're not just um, what's that thing that Nick Bostrom, the futurologist, technologist guy, philosopher, he said that if an anthill is destroyed because they're putting up a highway for cars where it used to be, like it's not even directed towards them. And yeah, okay, fair enough. Like at least if we are the anthill, we were we were the creators of our own destruction. Gives us a little bit more power in some poetic sense.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I would like for you to recommend 3 accounts that you like.
Ooh, festering vomitous mass.
Fantastic
Very,
account. Yeah,
yeah, very good. Very good videos. Everything's just beautiful.
yeah. On
Um,
my wish list of people to interview, by the way. Yeah,
oh, hope you get them.
yeah.
Siberian Bear Dog.
Also a great one.
Yeah, very good. It's got that spark of a rare guy in like a multimedia format.
Yeah,
Um, Wet Eggs.
nice.
Yeah,
That one
I
is a little bit more anonymous to me. I always loved it, but I don't have a personal connection to it other than just like the content.
yeah, I love the admin reveals. Just that's so good. Just
Yeah,
these beefed out men, and that's my mental image.
yeah,
Yeah, no, me and some real life friends feel like we built up that page because my friend wanted to have wet eggs as an account
mm,
and then it was taken. We're like, what? Who took this already?
mm,
Back when he had like 100 followers, we're like, oh, this is special.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be good. Um,
Yeah.
who do you think I should talk to next?
Accursed Institute. He shares my love for rare guys and has very interesting takes on the world.
I forget who it was. No, it was Swamp Bug said that I should talk to you because you're interesting and you have a beautiful voice, quote unquote.
I feel like I'm pretty monotone, but thank you,
No,
Swampy.
I like it. Yeah. Institute. Yes, right. So I can remember. Um, what's something that you wish that more people knew? Can be big, small, can be about you, can be about the world, can be anything.
A skill of any sort, like become really good at just one thing, you know? And I'm sure tons of people are good at lots of things, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people in our generation just are floating around, not detached at everything. I feel like if you just get really good at something, and I guess more important than that, get people to recognize that you're good at that one thing, you'll
Hmm.
live a lot happier life.
Did that happen to you, and when did that happen to you?
I feel like I'm good at a lot of things. I'm bad at a lot of things, but um, I don't know. I'm good at my job, and it's a source of pride and dignity. And I feel like that aids a lot into feeling good about yourself, developing self-esteem. Just
Hmm.
like be good enough at something to have that as a sense of pride.
What's a good topic to get deeper into? How do you decide what's a worthy cause for you to get good at it?
It could literally be anything, like anything at all. Just devote some time into it to where you can feel good about it and feel good about yourself. Like, doesn't have to be practical, although it would be great if more people knew practical skills in the world.
Hmm.
But
I think I agree with you. Good point. Um, I've run through the list I had. Do you have any questions for me?
I'm just thinking so much about Ted Kaczynski. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I in some ways I feel like his contribution to the world as a symbol for someone who stood there and very effectively as a single person raised awareness for things that I think are very valid points that ultimately probably will spell the demise of society. You have to admire that in some way, and I don't condone murdering people. But if you look at what he attempted to achieve, and the number of people that died by him doing so, and compare that to what he was fighting and the number of deaths associated with that, I think as like a climate warrior or technology, um, yeah, I don't know, very what's the word, prescient, like he saw where the world was going, and he shared his idea with a lot of people through very effective, educated perspectives that are very hard to dispute. I don't agree with everything that he's said or done, but the like central point of his argument, he put that into the world, and that's something that I think that we should be grateful for. I think here's an idea or a concept that is incredibly refined, well articulated for the most part, um, and shared. So if you can get to the end of your life and feel like you've had that sort of a cultural impact by sharing your perspective and equipping people with the words to understand one of the greatest possible threats to like society and humanity and yourself, isn't that sort of a life well lived? I'll probably get on end up on some sort of list for this, but yeah, that's kind of my point. I unfortunate that he did unfortunate things, but I think we as a society we have to recognize the fact that he articulated something that most people have not or have not done as effectively. Imagine like being a single person and shutting down all air traffic over California. Like if we had 1,000 people that did that, you know, then we would maybe see that the carbon offsets that are currently burning in Quebec, maybe they wouldn't just be like empty gestures.
With your 1,000 person comment, you're like an inch close for inciting violence.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you got an army.
Yeah, it's
You got
true.
an army building in them.
Yeah, or we can just take the pro corporate stance and say that we should update our HR policy to say things that we should all care about the environment, but no accountability, no next steps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that maybe we can change the background color of the header on the website to show that we care. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Um,
Thank you.
what do you think that this interview was like compared to your expectations?
Um, yeah, I think starting out with the mask was probably not the best idea because I was so hyper fixated about sweat pouring into my eyes and like how I couldn't hear or see anything.
Oh,
But
I forget his name.
it was worth
Chris.
it.
What's his name? Chris something. I forget his name. He's a Canadian astronaut, and he spent a lot of time like talking, doing seminars and sharing his experience with being in space. Chris Hadfield, I think. Um, and he shared a story about when he went blind in space, and it was exactly that. He was on a spacewalk, and the sweat on his forehead started to like accumulate in his eyes, And since you're in space, gravity, microgravity doesn't pull it away. So he just like started, his eyes were watering up and the water was going nowhere and he was tethered to this long little string outside of the spaceship in orbit. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I agree with you. Like,
Exactly what I went through just now.
I think the mask is beautiful. I like the vibe that it, like it changed the vibe of the interview a little bit. Yeah, look at that thing. It's gorgeous. Um, but it was hard to see your facial expressions other than you opening and closing your mouth. So like, yeah, I prefer your face.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Um, but it felt okay, like in terms of nervousness, topics covered, questions
Yeah,
asked.
yeah. I mean, I was definitely nervous, but we did it. It was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
It was nice talking to you.
yeah. Likewise, you're a very nice person. Um, if there's ever like a follow up or a part two, I will reach out to you again. I hope that's okay. Um,
Yeah, sure.
and in the next, I don't know, couple of minutes, I will just take this recording, upload it, share the link with you, and you can have a look and let me know if you're okay with this being shared. Um,
Cool.
yeah. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and
Yeah,
we'll talk soon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Bye.
Bye.